Hello, welcome to packing ink samples for Chicago because we leave in like 16 hours and I haven't done it yet. So, we are going to sit down and we are going to pack ink samples. And this should be fun. So, I have cleaned all my sample vials that had stuff in them, and now we're going to clean off labels. And then we will start filling up stuff. Because I don't like to waste sample vials. And so when I finish a sample, I clean them. So I've cleaned all of these. All right, there's number one. There's number two. We are going to need some rubbing alcohol for this one. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Oh, this one's a sticker. I should have just put the same ink in this vial because I have it. That was really silly of me because I had a sample of it and I liked it so much I bought a bottle. All right. This sort of feels like a waste of time to clean these. We'll come back to these actually, because I do have some that are just, I feel like I've got one here that I just need to rubbing alcohol the lid of. Other than that. Also, my fellow Canadians, how are you doing? Seeing as it's almost 11 a.m. the day after an election and we still don't know what sort of government we're going to have. How are we doing? All right. Now it's time to choose inks. I always tend to take more obscure things to pen shows, inks-wise. So things that like less people have in their collections. So store exclusives, show exclusives, all that fun stuff. So we are going to start by packing exclusives. And then we'll go from there. So I will go grab a selection of inks. Let's grab those two. Let's grab this. Let's grab that. Where's That's what I want. That's what I want. What else do I want that's sort of more obscure? I want that. I want that, but I don't know that I can get the lid off. Cool, we'll start with these. So we have these to start with. And we're also going to grab Bouton d'Or, because I don't think I'm ever going to finish it. I'm going to grab a sample of Anatola, which is definitely going to go in little sample vials. I'm going to grab that. Pack a sample of that as well. All right, so it turns out I am going to clean more little sample vials because there's some stuff that's just going to go in samples. Hello. Welcome. Oh, how many littles do I have? Hello. Hello. Welcome. You know, I leave for Chicago in 16-ish hours, and I'm just now packing ink samples, which is par for the course of the pen show. All right. What's this? This is... We're going to pack 2 of this Diamine Anatola. This is... There's 12th Night. This is going to be... We're going to do 3 Lights of Niagara and 3 Niagara Peach. I'm totally going to need to wash more or dry more sample vials. Right, and then we're going to pack 3 Niagara Peach. Why not? Which is this year's script is color, last year's script is color, 2024. Oh. So those are all labeled. I don't want to dry more sample vials. I'm going to have to though, because I've only got, those ones need to be wiped down still. This is going to be sidewalk gum. Sort of sorting these by brand / store exclusive. So let's dry some more of these. And then we'll get into filling up some stuff. I'm going to definitely pull some more inks from the shelf. This is not nearly enough inks, but it's sort of a starting point. They're the Q-tips. It's a starting point this morning. Because I was up far too late last night, and I'm going to be up far too early tomorrow. But Applebaum was canceled this morning because Yost is sick, which meant my alarm went off thinking I had Applebaum, and I didn't. Which means I've got a little bit more time to do fiddly things like this. Because all of these are ink samples that at one point or another have had ink in them. And I have washed them all. And now I need them to be dry and clean. Or at least the insides to be dry. I've already uninked all the caps. So just the bodies are labeled with what brands they were. Which honestly isn't awful. I can live with that. Especially if what I put in them is the same brand. But I don't think it's going to be. I think I'm going to have to use rubbing alcohol to get that off. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Is it still morning here? I feel like it is. It is. It's only 11 o'clock here. I don't know how it's only 11 o'clock here. It feels way later in the day. But I guess that's what I get for staying up until almost 1 a.m. and being up at 7:30. Hello, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh. I am in Canada. So. Last night was a very late night. I think it was a very late night for most Canadians. But All right, we're gonna clean this last one, and then we're going to move on to cleaning. Are we? Now we're gonna do a couple more. It was election night, except it's still election day. The election is still ongoing. It's been a thing. So it's still ongoing. They started counting ballots again about an hour and a half ago, after they stopped counting in the middle of the night. I think they stopped counting at like 2:30 or 3, and then they started again at 9:30. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of today plays out. But it has been a very late night. I think I went to bed at just before 1, maybe. Might have been 1:30. And then I was up again at 7:30. All right, we've got 16 more clean, so let's wipe down these labels. Let's wipe down these labels. Also, members on ClassPass or any level, you will be getting content at the Chicago Pen Show. Everyone will be getting content, but members will be getting a special live stream or some other special stuff as well. And ClassPass members, I've finally finished editing the last of the Atlas show, so you'll be getting that at some point this month, probably shortly. Yes, it is a crazy night. I would say our federal election is a bit weird because we still use paper ballots, and so every vote is counted by hand, and so that makes it a very long process. That being said, normally by this point, we know the sort of government we're going to have. And we do not at this moment. So it's definitely been an interesting night. It's been a long night. And looking at counts so far, the most people that have ever voted in a federal election voted this time, which is sort of really cool. Regardless of your party affiliation, it's important to go out and vote. So these are Sharpie labels. Or sorry, these are just the labels on the vial. They're written in Sharpie. And you can use 99% rubbing alcohol to remove Sharpie from plastic, which is one of my favorite hacks in the studio, to clean Sharpie off of anything is the fact that 99% rubbing alcohol cleans off labels. So these are all old sample vials that I've cleaned and I'm refilling for this pen show because I do not like to only use sample vials once. And so I'm cleaning off all their labels. And actually I've cleaned about, I would say I've cleaned close to like 100 sample vials. They're a pain to dry. And so I don't know that we're gonna fill many of them. I might set them back in the sun. No, I can't reach the sun from here. So yeah, the actual side of the tube has these marks and this little white patch, and I'm just using rubbing alcohol and wiping it off. And so it does sort of leave a bit of a purpley residue, but I'm okay with that because it means that I get to reuse them all. So it's really the only thing I like about the small sample vials is the fact that they come with a label on them. I hate filling from them, but I know other people that love them. So I am packing stuff in them just because they're easy to travel with. Yeah, I like them too. I wish that you could get the 5 ml ones like this, but I can't find the 5 ml ones like this, and I always forget to order labels for the 5 ml ones, so I label the caps in very tiny writing normally. All right. My issue is tape always peels off of them. And I know some people use like a label maker. I have never succeeded in labeling them on the side unless it's a light color where you can see the writing still. But really, I just use let's do another sidewalk gum. And then let's do 3 or 4 polar vortex. Ooh, okay. desk. All right. All right. Let's start filling. Lights of Niagara at first. Pretty much. Just keep filling, just keep filling, just keep filling. Don't make a mess. All right. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Niagara Peach. What's up next? Actually, before we keep filling, we're gonna flip. Never mind. These don't flip. I don't know that I've ever actually inked up this ink. I've tried it in other people's pens, but I don't know that I've ever actually inked up Niagara Peach. No, so they're just very, very sparkly. Pannonia does incredibly sparkly inks, and last year's Lights of Niagara actually glows under black light as well. The issue is I've never found a pen that last year's ink doesn't feather with. Or sorry, a paper that last year's ink doesn't feather with. I know some people have had luck on things like Tomoe River, but I don't use Tomoe River. And so I just haven't had good luck with it. But we're going to pack up. What I always tend to do is pack up more ink samples than I need. These two, these are going to become Pannonia Lights of Niagara as well. Because I always overpack samples because there are always a whole bunch of different events that happen at pen shows. And in this case, I know whatever I pack for this that I don't use here, I will probably use at other shows this year if I go to anything else. Or I can also use for ink swaps locally. So I'm mostly packed for Chicago, so I'm going to take advantage of the time I have right now, and I'm going to pack samples. Plus, Atlas is holding like a breakfast thing, and there's a evening thing at Chicago this year on the Saturday, and I suspect there'll be an ink swap at both of those events. And so I always like to pack more odd things or Canadian exclusive things. This is an ink that I don't know if I can open. Oh, I can. All right, where are we? Sidewalk gum. I also have 5 ml sample vials, and so we'll pack some 5 ml as well. Because honestly, I don't feel like drying all of these. Here. We're gonna pop this full tray of empty vials out in the sun, and maybe they'll dry a bit more. And good morning. Hello, Julia. I can't believe we get to meet in person in like 2 days. Clearly, I'm packing Chicago ink samples because I'm finally like sort of done packing. So many samples. I've done so many trades on the Atlas Discord. And so, yeah, it's officially packing samples time. I felt like I had to pack first. I always feel like I have to get like clothes and pens packing done before I can do ink samples, which means ink samples is normally always done the morning before we leave. Do I pack one more polar vortex? I do. Can you tell I don't like packing odd numbers? Also, Julia, because I'm packing, are there any specific inks that you would like from the wall? Because I can always pack something special for you if you know that you want something. It is the Innocent Mauve. I would show you a swatch of it, but my Cola Ring Dipper's already packed. So I can't show you a swatch of it. It's very pretty. You can look up a swatch online. Aw. Can I have a swatch? Can I have a sample of your custom, if you've got some mixed up, your custom Birmingham Pen Company mix? Your, I forgot what it's called. Your really cool one. Yeah, that one. Yeah. There's Birmingham. I keep asking everyone for Birmingham Pen Company inks because they're so hard to get here. You can only order them from one shop. And I never make a Penablers order that includes shipping. Ever. And so I am like stocking up on inks from Birmingham Pen Company, but I would adore a sample of your custom mix because every time I see it, I adore it. What else do I have that you might be interested in? I don't know. I've got samples of all the Scriptus inks packed that I've got. So I've got last year's and this year's packed. And I've got samples of the Alice exclusive sidewalk sale ink from last year. All right, I'm also packing Diamine Anatola, which I've posted a swatch of before. This is by far the craziest ink I own and is so cool. I'm only packing 2 samples of it though, so I don't quite know how I'm gonna figure out who gets the 2 samples of it because a couple people have asked me for samples of it. So I paint, but like I also do interviews in the fine arts world. Like you can already see how reflective it is. It color shifts. I've got a reel up on it if you want to see what it looks like yourself. Can't get some of these lids to sit flat. He did. He did 20 questions back in season 1 from home. If you go to the complete 20 questions playlist, he will be in it. this is, what is this? All right, let's do an innocent mauve. I guess we can also pack 2 little ones. All right. Stick lids on these 2. All right, let's do shiny black. Do you want to pack 5 of this? Sure. And then I'll clean more sample vials. Hello. How is it only 11:40 in the morning? Oh. All right, let's shake this. Let's have some more coffee. Exactly. Exactly. And then I will dry a whole bunch more vials and pick out some more inks. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Let's try some more vials. And then we'll swatch some more inks. I guess I'll grab some more inks and we'll swatch some more inks. I always find it so funny that we organize our elections by area code of phone numbers, which is so funny. Should I pack Mont Blanc ink samples? I'm also thinking about packing some Fairy Tale ink samples. I feel like some people like those colors, but not enough to buy a bottle of each of them, which is fair. There's a lot of colors. What are people's thoughts? What else should I pack? I feel like I've packed some of the slightly more obscure stuff. I have Around the World in 80 Days Brown. I have Jane Austen. I have Pop Pink. I have Cool Gray. I have Amethyst. I have Burgundy Red. I have Midnight Blue. And I have Toffee Brown from Mont Blanc. So feel free to make requests, Julia. And let me know if you want it in a 5 ml or a 2 ml. I think Jane Austen is the only one that I'd only be willing to give a 2 ml of, because I really like that color, and you can't get it anywhere right now. But feel free to make your requests. All right. Sounds good. I will finish drawing some more of these, and then I will pack them up. I sort of want to bring a sample of Pop Pink for myself, because I know something I'm picking up, and I really want to put Pop Pink in it. But I also feel like I might get other pink samples from people, and so maybe I'll just put something new in the pen. What do people do if they know they're picking up a pen at a pen show? Do you bring an ink for it, or do you just assume you're going to find an ink for it at the pen show? I know I'm going to want to ink it up. So should I pack an ink for the pen, or should I gamble on finding an ink I like at the show for the pen? Okay. Well, I've sample vials packed. I've got like 50 sample vials packed, because friends have already said that if they buy inks, I can take a little bit. So I've got vials packed. I've got 50 packed. I've got a new set of 50 sitting on my desk. And I think this is a set of 100 that I'm cleaning currently. All right, let's keep cleaning. What pens are you bringing, Julia? Also, I still have not watched your video. It's up on my computer, but I have a feeling I'm going to watch it tomorrow in the car, or listen to it tomorrow in the car, during our like 10-hour car ride. So let's keep drying stuff. Okay, same. I I have a really random selection of pens this time around too. And too many nibs because I still haven't decided what I'm getting done in my nib appointments. And so I've packed so many spare nibs because I don't know what I'm getting done. That is a like car decision tomorrow and maybe a Thursday decision after I talk to friends and play with some testers. I'm packing so many nibs and so many pens that those nibs fit into. I've got an empty 6, I've got an empty Kaweco that are already clean that I just have to pop the nibs into. But I don't honestly at this minute know what I'm getting done. All right, I'm gonna clean 30. So right now I've got 2 nib appointments and Mom has 1. Luckily they're later in the show, so that gives me time to figure out my shit. That one doesn't have a label. Oh, like pens or like nibs or like in general? I still haven't bought a Pixie. I do really want a new Pixie. I feel like I have to see it in person. I would love to finally get a pen from Ian. I don't know that that's going to happen this show. I hope it happens at some point this year. I don't know that it's going to be Chicago. I don't know what else. I've got sort of a running list that I go through every couple months. There's some inks that I want to try and track down. So I've tried a Monarch before. I tried one at Chicago last year. I really like one. Just with the current Canadian exchange, they're really expensive. And so I think I'd have to do it in 2 parts. I'd buy the pen and then at some point I'd buy a Monarch. So we'll see what happens there. I feel like I'm jinxing it saying it out loud. Last year, Claire got a Bohem at Chicago. And I think I'd almost be willing to spend my entire Chicago budget on a Bohem if I found one I really liked that was in good shape for a good price. I've wanted one for a long time, and they are my favorite Mont Blanc pen. So we'll see where that goes. And I will know fairly early into the show if that's where my budget's going, because normally that's a Thursday item. The issue is, if you saw yesterday's 20 questions, you'll know that Mom is into the same pen. Mom wants the exact same pen. So we'll see what happens there. Really though, like I've got this sort of running list and we'll see what I check off. I've ordered a Sailor. I ordered one before the price increase yesterday. Actually, I ordered one before they announced the price increase. And so got a Sailor waiting for me in Chicago, and we'll just see what happens. I've also got my Galen folio. It's supposed to arrive in the next couple hours. So I probably won't film with it until we're in Chicago, but that'll be fun. And I'm very much looking forward to having my Expansi folio at the show. All right, we've got 2 more to clean. That'll be 60 question mark maybe, I think. All right, now it's time to take off labels. Let's take off some labels. All right, let's keep going. Oh. Let's keep going. All right. Julia, when do you arrive at Chicago? Because I know some people arrive on different days. Okay. All right. I arrive tomorrow evening. Oh. My headphone just hit my mic. Sorry about that. Dump all the fairy tales onto my chair. Hello, Wendy Sue. I regret dumping all these inks onto my chair. So now I have to get rid of them to sit down. Alright, now they're just sitting in my lap. I have a lap full of fairy tale inks. It's been a couple days since I've been live. I've been busy getting stuff done for Chicago. And then I've been procrastinating doing this. So, as always, procrastinating stuff ends with me doing it on live so that I can't procrastinate it anymore. So, here we are. All right. All right. Let's pack up this. There's Jane Austen. And then cool gray. All right. There you go, Julia. There's cool gray and ooh. I like the conversation you're having about nibs because I had the same question, Wendy, and was going to DM you on Instagram. But honestly, if I get a pen from Ian, I'm not getting a new flex nib. All right. Let's keep packing inks. All right. We're doing 5 of this one because honestly, it isn't my favorite Mont Blanc color, but I know some people really like it. And because of that, we're going to pack up 5 samples of it because why not? This is burgundy red. Is it? It's officially noon. That is true. And there will be a lot of Chicago content like there was last year. There's some cool stuff in the works. So it should be an excellent show. I do. Believe me, I wish I had one. It's one of the things I miss most about a lab, but I do not have one at home. So honestly, I don't think you're the only one that did that. I know a couple people that had booked nib appointments before they actually knew if they were attending the show or not, for sure. And honestly, I've done the same thing before. So to say this is a really great distraction from the fact we still don't have final election results in Canada. Oh. We actually talked about the train yesterday because they have talked about having a train from Toronto to Chicago. It was supposed to happen in 2026, 2027. I don't know that it's going to happen anymore, but it would have been super cool. Why isn't this lid sitting flush? This is really annoying me. We shall stick a different lid on you. No, you're not sitting flush either. Whatever. It's like a 10-hour drive before stops for us. So we're leaving here very early tomorrow morning. Hello. It is finally sunny here. It's sunny and warm today, and I am relishing that fact because it has been so cold and gross recently. But it is actually a lovely day today, and so I've got the sliding door open in my office. I think it's approaching 24 degrees here. So our daffodils are out in bloom. And it's so lovely. The daffodils are all out. The raspberries have started to come out in leaf. We've always been a road trip family, and so honestly, it doesn't seem all that bad. And we'll make stops to stretch and stuff and eat snacks. And I'm sure we'll stop for ice cream at some point, because is it a road trip if you don't stop for ice cream? No. So I'm sure there'll be a stop for ice cream. It is, yes, I would very much say that it's a thing. Like, my family's British. I went to a university that was still in my province, but was like 1,500 kilometers away, but it was still all in the same province. And so round trip for my parents to pick me up from uni was like, I think it was London to Barcelona and back in a weekend if you drove it, because of course my father put it on a map for all of our British family, because Ontario is a massive province. I'm gonna clean some more vials, I think. How many fairy tales do I have? I think I've got more than. Or I'm gonna fill these and then, all right, so plated gold tresses I've got 2 bottles of. This I've got 2 bottles of. This I've got 2 bottles of. This I don't like very much, so that'll get 2 of. This will get 2. This will get 2. This will get 2. This will get 2. Here's the pile of 1s. And these both 1s. That isn't even getting 1. These are all 1s. This isn't even getting 1. That one's labeled. Hello. I'm very excited for this weekend. As well. It should be a great time. I am packing samples of inks. So if there's anything specific you want from the wall of ink, let me know and I will pack samples. I've already packed samples for Julia. And now I'm just packing random stuff. Lori is coming. This is Whispers of Twilight. Oh. which I think might be my favorite Ferris wheel press color in a very long time. What's this? Winking embers. Let's do 2 of this. We'll do 3 of each of these. All right, last 3 before we have to clean more ink sample vials. Let's keep going. I'm starting to have my doubts on if we're going to have election results today. So nothing's changed since the wee hours. Oh. That was a silly decision. I like when I make stupid decisions and I do it anyways. Because why would I make intelligent decisions? Shake, 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 shake. Let this sit for too long, haven't I? Yeah. I feel like not very many people pack samples of fairy tales, but I've got so many of them. And I don't see why I shouldn't pack samples of fairy tales. Because I feel like a lot of people want to try certain colors, but don't want to invest in bottles. This is one of my favorite fairy tale colors. I actually have a second bottle of this. I like it so much. Which is why we're packing 2, even though it's my favorite. One of my favorites. Ooh. I don't know that I have tunes of Tinseltown. Oh, I do. I should pack some samples of some everydays as well. I should pack some everydays. There are many fairy tales that I really love. My favorite currently is actually Whispers of Twilight, which is new. I just got a second bottle of it because that's how much I love it. And I did debate getting an 85 ml of it, but I ended up just going with a 20. Oh. Well, we're relabeling those containers because plated gold tresses went in Whispers of Twilight. So everything gets relabeled. Let's wipe down these sample vials. While these dry, I'm going to answer a text quickly because my laptop has been buzzing, which means somebody's been texting. These will have to dry for a second. Let's see. Oh, I've got 3 texts. right. Good for you. I'm really, it's this, and then I've still got to pack, like, inks and not ink. I've still got to, like, finish my pen kit and stuff. Um, so ooh, have fun with your new Santini. Normally, I'm more talkative during these, but I'm trying to get these packed, and I'm also still listening to election coverage in my ear because there are 11 seats to call, and then this will all be over. Honestly, if you like writing with a Lamy Safari, there's nothing wrong with a boring pen. And honestly, I don't really think any fountain pen is boring. They're just all different. Oh, ha, ha, ha. All right. I would assume Julia's doing a video. She normally has at least like a pen show. I think it's normally a pen show haul video, but I might be wrong. Have a good afternoon. All right. Let's try some more. Where's my toilet paper? Oh, there it is. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. I'm so tired of doing this. That one doesn't need a label removed. That one does. Oh. I think I might actually pack Van Diemen's Dusk, which I think was what was in that sample originally, seeing as it's labeled Van Diemen's. I think Dusk is the only Van Diemen's color I've ever had. To say this is like the most. This is the part about packing for a pen show that I probably like the least. One, it means then I have to clean up the ink wall. But two, I just find it really repetitive in a way. Like I just don't really enjoy packing samples, which is why I pack so many at any given time, so that I don't have to do this again for the next pen show. I've only just burned through my last set of samples that I packed back to the Atlas Sidewalk sale. So it does tend to last me a while when I do this, but it's not my favorite studio task. Scooch these all over here. Yeah, so last year to Chicago, I had been to a pen show before, but I'd only been to Scriptus, and I brought ink samples, but I forgot all my spare nibs at home, so I didn't get anything ground. And this year, like, nibs were the first thing I've packed. Nibs have been packed now for a week. This is always my last task, purely because of how much I despise doing it. There are just so many tasks that I'd rather do rather than pack ink samples. And so it's always that sort of last minute thing, because also at the end of the day, like, me not getting ink samples packed doesn't really have a huge impact on my show experience. Like, it means that I'm not trading ink samples with people, but nibs and stuff make more of a difference for me. So I did the important stuff first. I've packed nibs, I've packed paper, I've done all that stuff, and now we're on to the sort of more fussy stuff, which is the stuff that I'm just not going to do until, like, I've got the time to do it, which is why we're doing it today, or just like a couple hours before I have to leave. And like, I still haven't even, other than the one ink sample that or two ink samples that I put in 5 ml sample vials for you, like, I'm still working on 2 ml ink samples. I'm like an hour and a half into this, or 2 hours into this, and I'm still working on 2 ml ink samples. So at some point, the 5 mls are going to come out, but we're not there yet. So it's just a process. And at this point, it's also just a good distraction from news. Hello. Welcome to finally packing ink samples for Chicago. Well, also like listening to Canadian election results because it was our federal election yesterday and we still don't have results. And I can't just sit and watch. So instead, I'm doing this and I'm listening to it. All right, let's clean off all these ink lines. All right. Feels like I haven't done all that much, and then I look at all these ink samples and go, I cleaned all these samples, I cleaned all these syringes, and now we're cleaning Sharpie off of all of them. And I've already filled all of these. Like, I've done a lot today. It's just like, they are one, I saw your comment. I'm just like in a mad rush for Chicago, and so I'm dealing with comments tomorrow in the car as we drive. I'm going to be answering comments. They are Hollyland Lark. I want to say they're the C1 mics, but they might be the M1 mics because I have both sets. I really like their mics. They're the same mics I ended up recommending to Hemingway, and he now has a set of them. They're great. They work super well. They've got a fairly long range, and they're fairly good at filtering out background noise. So I like them. They are expensive though. They're not cheap. For me, it was worth it though. We are going to pack up those ones. So they are a little bit less expensive. I've had my set that I'm using right now, which are from the same brand, for over a year. I really like them. These ones just work with the iPhone. These are what I used at the Chicago Pen Show last year. And I like them. So these are 1.8-ish. I think they're actually 2 mil ink samples. I will be packing some samples between 3 and 5 mil, depending on the ink. But for now, I'm packing smalls, and then I'll move on. I tend to pack smaller ink samples of the more hard to get stuff. So fairy tales, Mont Blanc, that sort of stuff. I am only motivated to get this done because we leave very early tomorrow morning. I've still got some packing to do upstairs. But also we're still waiting on Canadian election results, and I cannot just sit upstairs and wait for the election to be called. So we're doing this instead. Somebody's car alarm's going off. It is a much better option. So I'm still listening to election coverage in my ear, but I'm not sitting upstairs and watching it. All right. I am still here, Marina. We've made progress, though. I'm still working on it. Plus, I'm still like trying to get this stuff done, so we're still live. At some point, I think my phone's probably going to overheat, but for now, we're good. It does have a lid. The great question is, where is the lid for my tray? I don't know. So all of these will actually be going, as soon as I've made sure the lids are on correctly, into a Ziploc bag. I just don't have that downstairs. It's already upstairs in my sort of like pen bin. But it did at one point have a lid. I don't know where it is. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Oh. Ah. Ah. Oh. I've stopped caring how I'm putting these away. I don't think I have yet. don't think I have a sample of it yet. Honestly, though, my cola ring dipper's already packed, so I can't check. But I think I've tried Verolantide, but I don't have Emerald of Chevoy yet. I like how many people I've got a pile with. I've got so many piles with people. Julia's got a pile for me. Lori's got a pile for me. Shannon's got a pile for me. Like, all right. All right. Let's go set all the fairy tales on my desk, and then I will grab a new set of inks. Because clearly we are way past the point of actually putting stuff away. Like, way past the point of putting stuff away. That's a tomorrow issue. Not a tomorrow issue. That's a this evening issue. If I've got time. Our next round of inks. We need those. What else do I want? What else do I want? Let's grab that. Let's grab that. Let's grab that. What else do I want from the wall? All right. I think these are the last of our inks. All right, let's scooch these over. That lid's on all the way. Do I want midnight blue? Sure, I'll pack 2 samples of that. All right. Yeah, I don't pack minimally. Minimal. Sweet, sweet. Don't know which Noodler's Black Swan this is. I do not. I don't use Fountain Pen Companion. I don't love it as a system. I have my own spreadsheet set up that I quite like, and that's what I use. Actually. I do like these ink sample bottles, other than the fact that they make a mess when you open them sometimes. I have not. I haven't even heard of them, which is rare. Honestly, I need to go have lunch soon too, because it's like 1:30 here. But I want to finish this. And I really want to finish this. I don't even know what time I started this. I feel like I've been doing this for ages. Ooh, Atlas has just released their new show sticker for this year. I love it. I am still labeling examples. All right. Let's pack these up. These are all Mont Blancs. Well, I try and make my limited pen shows a year really worth it. And we're about to move on to 5 ml samples. I don't know that I'm actually going to pack up these last 10. I think everything else is going to go in 5 ml or 3 ml samples. Also, like, we're still waiting on election results here in Canada, so I'm just really burning time. So I am going to continue to packing samples until I feel like I've packed enough. Honestly, I think most of us at this point just would like to know what sort of government we're having. No election results have moved since the wee hours, and so everyone is just sort of waiting to know if it's going to be a majority or minority government. And so it's definitely, honestly, I have no memory of an election where I woke up the next day and we didn't know. It's pretty rare to not know in the morning who has won. And in this case, we do know who's won, but we don't know if they've got a majority or a minority. Yes, I would say that is the commentary from everyone, is that nobody, in September, this result was unthinkable. In January, this result would have read like a great HBO show, was, I believe, one of the quotes from a reporter last night, which isn't really that far off. And so, really, like, most of us at this point just want a result so that we can all turn off the news. I would also say my French is not nearly good enough anymore for the amount that I'm listening to interviews in French that are being now dubbed in English. For somebody that did like 7 years of French, my French is poor at best for election coverage in French. Yes, I would say we do it very differently in Canada. This entire election campaign was 36 days from beginning to end. We do it short and quick and dirty, and the fact that we are still waiting for results is just crazy, and so out of the norm. But yeah, we do 36 days. I think the longest it can go is like 8 weeks, but normally we do short, and it's Lovely. So it's been weird here. So because we were having a whole bunch of non-confidence votes last year. And so an election could have been called at any point. And then in January, like January 6th, the prime minister resigned. I think. Maybe. And then there was a vote for the leader of the Liberals, and then we had a federal election. So it's been a very election heavy season in Canada, but normally we had an Ontario election. It's been a very heavy election season here. But normally we've got some time off between elections. All right. Oh yeah, no. We have provincial elections. We had a provincial election in like February. We had feet of snow at that point. It was like the weirdest election ever because there were no election signs anywhere. Didn't look like we were having an election, but we had an election. I'm tired of labeling these little tubes. And so just like that, we're done with little tubes. A label maker would probably help. But right now, any of my ad revenue from the channel is going back into pen purchases or paper purchases or recently into nib grinds. And so at some point I will get one, but for now, I'm just writing the labels on everything. I know a lot of people that love using label makers for their sample vials. I just have never done it. Let's turn these off so I can see the measurements. I think I'm going to put apparently Quebec's having another election. yeah. My biggest concern is myself knocking over my shit. But so far, we're okay. I am getting a spear architect. I'm very excited. I didn't quite make it over the threshold that I sort of needed to meet with ad revenue to get a second grind from Kirk. So I will only be getting one grind from Kirk, I think, which will be my architect on a fine. But I'm very excited to get the architect on a fine. Let's pack 2 more of these. So I'm getting mine on a Yovo fine. Have I decided which Yovo fine? No, but I'm getting on a Yovo fine. So we'll see which Yovo fine ends up being used. I've got, honestly, it might be a gold spot Yovo fine because I've got one on order, and it means that I can just swap it into a whole bunch of pens, and I'm not grinding something that's already in a pen. How many did I pack? 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Well, again, I figure if I pack a whole bunch now, it means I don't have to do it for other events. Because I really dislike packing ink samples. Like, it is not my thing. I am very much I like to be one and done person. All right. I would say these are like 3.5 ml ink samples. Mostly because I find some 5 ml ink samples hard to fill from if they're actually 5 ml. Yes, I would also call it pre-planning because I know how much I hate it. Like, I do not like packing ink samples. And I don't actually know what other events I'm going to this year. I don't know if I'm going to any other pen events other than Scriptus this year, but I am going to pack ink samples because why not? Ha! Why are we leaking? Can we not? Why are we leaking? I know it'll wash out. I just now look like I've, committed a crime. Yay. All right. Hello, welcome. Pack 5, I guess. This is rose pink. Okay, knock on wood, I've never had an issue with these leaking. The Ferris wheel press bottles for me have always been fine. I've had issues with Monteverde, with diamine, with so many other things leaking. Yeah. 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 So I'm very happy that I have Private Reserve Ink Zero, which is going to hopefully get rid of most of this from my hands and my arm. It is one of my secret weapons in my pen show toolkit because as much as I enjoy all the inky messes of a pen show, sometimes I do not want to go to dinner with ink all over my arms. I have not, Bailey. Okay. I have opinions on this because I have one of the brass stands and I never use it. Like, I know people find them really tippy. I have so many other bottles that I find worse. That I probably just, like, it doesn't really matter to me. But if you're looking for a really cool, like, desk protector for your desk or ink bottle holder, Stationery Universe. Go look at Toria's shop because she has a great new ceramic ink bottle holder. And it's super cool. I'm absolutely covered in ink. Sort of want to go and wash my hands. I'm sort of over my hands looking like they're covered in blood. We're gonna swatch this or fill the sample vials of this with the Monteverde, because if something else is gonna leak, it's gonna be this, and then I'm gonna go clean my hands, and then we'll come back and right. Okay, I'm gonna mute you guys. I'm gonna go clean my hands, and then I'll be back. And this is why I love Private Reserve Ink Zero. Because look at those hands. There's only one little mark left. It's so good. So good. So the only Roy and Klinger ink I have is a sample of Scabiosa, I think. I don't know that we're actually going to pack up many of these Ferris wheel pressings this round. We might not. So I can't because it came with the sample vials. When I bought these mini sample vials, I bought one that came with a holder. I got it on Amazon and it's no longer available. But I think I searched like 2 ml ink sample with holder. They are hard to find, which is why I am very careful about making sure that I don't accidentally leave mine somewhere. I actually will not be taking it to Chicago with me. I'm just using it to hold inks on my desk because I really like it. All right, actually, you know what? We're just gonna do another sample of Midnight Blue, and we might call it there. Actually, I'll pack up a couple of that too. Is there anything else? Let's do these last two. All right, we're leaving it there. We're gonna fill these, and then we're gonna be done. We're not gonna pack the rest of the Ferris wheel press colors I pulled because I don't feel like it. Actually, we're gonna do two. Yes, it really has. Honestly, I don't know what time I started this. It's almost 2:30 here. And I can tell you, there's still no Canadian election results for those of you that are paying attention to that. They keep pushing back the release time, which probably means there's going to be recounts. All right. So we're going to pack a third Tunes of Tinseltown as well. We've got 5 colors left, 6 colors. We've got 6 colors left. And then I get to eat lunch and put together my desk. Oh yeah. I'll pin this, Marina. If I can pin it. Pin message. Marina's hosting desk chatter tomorrow because, you know, I'll be in Chicago. And I've already got ink all over my hands again. I don't even know how many ink samples I've packed so far. We're going to go with many. Many, many, many. So blue is not my favorite color, but I'm always game for swatching pretty much anything and trying it out. I would say I've started to acquire more blue inks, which is really funny because I used to be so anti-blue. I would say I've got more of like an issue with ballpoint blue than like a pretty blue, if that makes any sense. But I'm not a huge fan of ballpoint blue. purple. I am a purple person. I really like lilac-y purples. I like pinks, but I'm pickier about my pinks. I'm picky about purples as well, honestly. I also really have a thing for gray inks. I really like gray inks. So apparently it's 2:30. Yeah, so I'd say my favorite pink is Mont Blanc Pop Pink. Purples, though, I like a lot more purples. I find there are some pink inks that just lean too orange. Three colors between me and the end of this. Right. We have 6 vials left to fill, and then we're done. I would say my desk is such a mess. Like the studio set desk is an absolute mess, and the floor around my watercolor filming desk is an absolute mess. But I'm going to. Oh, I don't know if you guys ever saw this. I did get a cat bottle. I'm going to deal with it after I eat lunch. There's going to be food before we deal with the mess of my desk. And then once I deal with the mess of my desk, I'm going to go back to packing. pack. Sure, let's pack 4 of this. Three samples left. These are the last 3. These are the last 3. Though I might fill a 4th of this blue. We are. We're going to fill a 4th, and then we're going to be done. All right, we're done. We're done. We're done. I just have to write a label on that one. And then I'm going to go finish packing. And then I think Mom and I have to pack up the car. And at some point I have to put my desk back together. But that's going to be a this evening project, probably. But there we go. All packed up. Ugh. All right. Desk Chatter is over on Marina's channel tomorrow. And if you're coming to Chicago, come say hi. But for now, I'm going to leave you here. Thanks for hanging out while I pack samples. And yeah, have a good rest of your day.